Ziggity Zig talking his way out of silver game number 17. This is actually a game between myself and that guy, Griff. We had a best of 3, and this is actually game 1 where we both played our main races. So this isn't technically a silver game, even though we are both within silver. And pretty evenly matched, and there's both our greetings right there. 2 turntables and a microphone, followed by fish fingers and custard. So let's see how we start off. There, I'm the orange, so my EPM is actually slightly lower. I'll have a look at that in a little bit later. But this, since the THWOS number 16, which was Griff trying to give me advice and tell me how to play, this is sort of the revenge is mine type thing. Now, I think Griff goes for setting up a block or a wall off. I decide to say, alright, fine, if you're so smart, if we're so smart with all these, put your pylon next to your nexus and basically prepare thyself for a perhaps cannon rush, then fine, why not? So we both did that. Mine came in a little bit earlier, and then I think, did I throw a chrono boost on mine? I'm not entirely sure, but we both have started out pretty much the same. The thing about Protoss is there's only very few variations, which is why we've been talking about Heart of the Swarm quite a bit, is that there's so many variations now in the multiple units, but there's not all that much difference in Protoss, but there's a few different ways you can take Zerg, and I mean lots of different ways that you can take Terran. There's all sorts of mech builds that are much, much more viable. Oh, now Griff's Gateway is actually much further ahead of mine. How's our income? Pretty much on par. I think I'm up by 1 worker just at the moment. Not really a big deal. Doesn't so much matter. Basically, this is the beginning of the game when casters just sort of make crap up. So he tried to catch me there, and then I think I just run away and move in between the two. And oh, I didn't notice that he went off here and had a little sneaky backdoor. Oh, did he bother setting one up? No, apparently not. So we're both on for the 14 assimilator. And then I get my 16 pylon. Griff is probably just about ready. No, that screws him there. And now he does not have... just starts the pylon there, which means he's going to be blocked. Can make a zealot. And... oh, can still make an 18th. Well, that's interesting. Oh, that is the 18th. I see. Well done. Look at that. So that one finishes just in time. So his pylon timings are a bit better than mine. As his cyber core is actually coming in just at the same time. Gateway as well. So instead of getting units, Griff gets a gateway, because right now I'm up with an additional unit. So I send out my zealots to just have a sort of peek around, attack, and see if there's anything to attack. I'm still working on my warp gate. Griff gets a second gas. That's interesting. I don't think oh, yep. Oh, sorry. I get a second gas as well. So our 2 gas guys are on their way in. Warp gate is extremely similar. I go for the robo first, as opposed to the other gates. Meanwhile, I'm still making a couple of extra units. Griff is going for some stalkers now, whereas I think I have... this was something that really pissed me off. Why, oh why, if there's a tiny little gap, if I build things right next to each other, why do they spawn in this tiny little zone? I mean, do I actually have to choose over to this side and then bend it over that way? Just about to get crazy sauce. So it looks like Griff is getting more gas than me currently, even though I'm still trying to grab that. Robo Bay is on its way, or robotics facility. Griff's still on 3 gate at the moment. Army supply is up. My worker supply is only slightly ahead there, not by much. We're all still wandering our probes around, not really sure what to do. There goes another one of mine. I think mine's just patrolling back and forth in between the two. There is a robotics facility, while my first observer is almost done. So out goes the observer, and I think I make a second one? Yep, so there's a second observer. So I shall have the 2. So we both go with a 3-gate robo build. where Griff has a slight advantage over myself in army supply, but I am just a little bit ahead in income and workers, even though I am also forgetting. There's his expansion, just a little bit behind mine, just because we sort of chose different unit composition. He has some stalkers. He got his gateways at a different time than mine. EPM's way off. I'm not really building anything at the moment, which is kind of a shame. I'm waiting for a few units, but at this point, I go with just the stalker, or just the zealots and just the sentries. So that sort of offsets itself, because if you get one, you can pay for the other, because sentries are cheap on minerals, but expensive on gas. Zealots are free on gas, but more towards the minerals, so they make up the minerals when you're not getting anything else. Griff grabs a few more units. I'm up on worker and army supply, and yet my APM's really low. I'm not trying to rub anything in anyone's face here, but I just find this really interesting. I'm not sure quite how I won this game, because at this point, I think Griff's just getting his second observer out now, so I've got one at the front and one over here in the back. I do try to continue scouting. Here's my awareness of Griff's base. There's Griff's awareness of my base. This is it. But my awareness of Griff's base is I know all of this, I know all of these. I sort of peek around, I go take a look over at the third in a minute. Ah, there we go. So Griff's finally down here with the observer who can see most of that. Army supply, worker supply. I'd like to get a bit of a split going on there. So mine drops because my split is now just arriving. So let's see if that picks me back up. 660, 660, 670, 670. Oh. Oh no, he's not doing a split. Okay. Now, I believe Griff does the method where yes. He sends both of them. I try to do the split, whereas Griff tries to send both bases to the same new patches, which is probably a good plan. My macro isn't quite so good that I can sort of work my way around it. I believe we were even talking at the time, and he was mentioning that that was a lot of zealots. And yeah, normally I don't quite make that many zealots. So the trick that was annoying here is I couldn't really see things, and I just noticed that he had a probe here on this tower. So I decided, fine, since I have this guy still alive, I will make it forward pylon. Everything looks okay here. I can pretty much see everything he's got, so I'm just going to try to move out. It felt like kind of a blind move. That's what he said, a lot of zealots. It felt like a slightly blind move, but also felt like the best thing to do. So he's getting a few more zealots, just to counter the zealots for whatever reason. Working on +1. I did not get a forge at this point. However, I felt like I was doing alright staying ahead of most of the pylon blockings. I was happy about that. Force fielded there to get him to squeeze around the top of his forge. He did light up the Guardian Shield, and then that sort of ruined my zealots, which is sort of annoying. He then brought in a few more units up here at the top. Although I managed to stay ahead, these Immortals totally won the day for me. I did do a small warp in just here behind me, but it just was not, well, I wasn't really paying attention quite well. However, I'll tell you what, I was paying attention. Boom! I was actually putting in a few more gateways up here in the front. If I ever do anything like that, but effectively I could warp in 4 at a time, which was cool. I wasn't looking at my money, I was just hoping it was all going well. Worker supply, I am ahead on the worker supply. Griff is pretty much swearing to himself and out loud at me at the same time here. Now, what really got me here was I was trying to do a little bit of focus fire down here. I was just trying to pay attention to these guys, and occasionally I would just head back and try to be making some Immortals back home. I really should have been... Oh, well, there we go. There's another warp in there, so just as I think about it now, I think about it just there as well. EPM still pretty low on my count. Getting a little bit higher, but that's because I'm doing anything right at the beginning of the game. Taking out pylons, taking out buildings, and then I realized that I should probably get in here and do something about this. So I tried about the probes and the workers. So I tried to get around the top. Didn't get too many of these. Not in the way that I wanted to. I pretty much wanted to get a lot more than that. Oh well. luckily, I managed to take this out. I'll take out the Nexus, pretty much whipping ahead with the worker count and the army count. I just want to have a quick peek down here. That's atrocious, and that's ridiculous. So my split didn't really work quite that well. That's the problem with the split. Griff's probably got the right idea, splitting up his army one way or the other. Saw the zealots coming down, so I just decided, hey, stay in one place, continue shooting them, because if I move around, it's just going to screw things up, and I don't want to. So now I moved. I moved up the ramp a bit more, and then I hit stop, let the range, collect the range, try to get the range to destroy anything that's left. Can't quite reach the sentry, aim for pylons. That was my thinking there. Bringing in a few more units just as backup. Pretty much got Griff on the back foot here. Finish off the zealot. Now it's time to come around the corner. Oh, I don't come around the corner just yet. Come on. Get up the ramp. Oh, this is bad. Oh yeah, it's back. And then, aha. Because I noticed this coming here, so there was a little bit of shenanigans that Griff was doing just in the back door. So, I managed to bring in a few more of my starters. So I had to leave my forward moving army and go back to have a peek at the base because I saw this going in. Luckily, I had an available warp route, and I could bring in a few stalkers to take care of it. It wasn't a full group of zealots for whatever reason. It was kind of an intense game. I had a really good time playing it. I wish my APM was a little higher, but oh well. Griff's is pretty sweet, hitting over 40. I'm still sort of in the mid to high 20s. I just can't get it any better. So the problem is that if I can't beat him early, he just storms me. We played a couple other games. This is actually game 1 of our best of 3 random challenge that will be going up in the Lime Not Lemon YouTube channel, youtube.com/LimeNotLemon. Later on in the week, if you want to watch game 2 and game 3, you can go over there and check that out. If you want to leave me a comment down below about my gameplay, do so, or you can send me an email, ziggityzig@gmail.com, or you can follow me on Twitter at ZiggyStarCraft. Lung capacity. I has it. Stay tuned.